Hi, this is Reverend Cindy Fuller, Interquest Church, and this is Spiritual Story number 6. I hope you've been enjoying them. This really may be our last spiritual story because we may be out of containment soon. But this is a story that I've been wanting to share since 2015, and I'm just going to be brief today. We went to Ireland in 2015, and ever since we got back, I have been wanting to put our experiences together in a book. The photographs are amazing, and the experiences spiritually that so many of our team had is just beyond. So I wanted to just give you a taste of my concepts very quickly. So Ireland, 2 fun facts for you. Fun fact number 1, there are more fairies in Ireland than there are people. Fun fact number 2, the fairies like it that way. So, this is a space where there's all manner of beings on a different dimension. And for you to fully understand, I just want to explain this. There are some spaces where the civilization has been there for so long. Pre the Ice Age, so long these places have been inhabited by beings and people. And even way back, the beings were masters. They were high beings. And again, this is eons ago. And in some of these locations, the beings that lived in that day and time as masters helping people on earth are still there. And so this is what you hit in Ireland. There are so many pockets of people on the other side, in addition to the fairy kingdom. 3 spaces I want to talk to you about. When we landed, we went to a space called Newgrange. And in Newgrange, they take small groups down into this cavern, and they do a little wee talk. And they show you there's a hole that lines up at the solstices and the equinoxes where the light comes through. It's ancient. And our first little group was down there, and there were 3 beings there, right there, standing right next to the guide. And of course, I whisper to the crew of our people that are there, wait, don't go. And so everybody else is leaving because they time you, they kick you out. And then I looked at the guide and went, yeah, we have to stay. So we did a circle, and we started talking to the beings that were there, and they were just fabulous. It was almost like talking to angels. They were so filled with love. But they weren't. They were ancient beings that had been holding the energy for this country and for mankind. It was beautiful. They loved us. It was just this beautiful, harmonious connection, and they were very happy that we saw them and could talk to them. There were 7 of us in the circle, and those that were in it will, I'm sure, remember it. That was our first day, boots on the ground in Ireland, and it was not the last encounter we would have. A few days later, we were in Northern Ireland, and we had the opportunity to go to Dunluce Castle. Well, that is actually one of the most haunted places you could go to. Broad daylight, they're everywhere. These are ghosts. These aren't ancient beings. And the ghosts of 1400s, 1300s are there still partying. They were having a big party. And, of course, everyone in our crew is talking with them and running into them. And they did not want to lift out, so that was fine. We just annoyed them, and they annoyed us. But at Dunluce Castle, there is a cavern nearby that goes to the water. So the water fills the cavern at certain points and pulls out at certain points. You're not supposed to go in there, but we did. And we're all in there, and the water's not coming in yet. It's a huge cavern of dark stones. Every single photograph that was taken in that cavern is full of orbs. Now, orbs appear when a spiritual entity is getting ready to become physical or becoming denser, so that it's perceived by the humanity. A fairy will orb, a ghost will orb, and beings that are coming in will orb. That place was packed. It was absolutely packed. And we were feeling a very interesting energy there. It was very different because it wasn't human and it wasn't ancient ones. It was very different. We left there, and some of our crew inadvertently had taken a little rock out of the cavern. everyone that had taken a rock out of the cavern had nightmares that night, and they were woken up at night, and they were given a hard time, and no one could understand what this energy was that was kind of becoming aggressive toward them. So when I was approached the next day, I asked each one, did you take a stone from the cavern? And each one said yes. And I said, you need to return the stone to water, because that is not making, because what you did is making these entities unhappy. And they were probably just some kind of sea beings, but they were very unhappy that we took the stones. So that's an interesting part of our journey. What I really wanted to share with you was toward the last. We had gone to a place called Carroquel, and there was a cairn. These are places that they say were used for burial. Who knew what they were used for? And there were 7 of us, once again, in this cairn. And there was a being in the cairn. And I said, guys, can you not feel it? And they all said yes. And then the being started talking to me. It was in the male voice. And I said, I knew it was a master. I knew it was a being of great knowledge. And I said to the being, mankind needs your help. We need you to come and help us. We are at the point where we're ready to receive the knowledge that you guys have, and we need your help. And it was like he patted me on the head, like, oh, you little girl. We know what mankind's doing. We watch them every day. And I said, but really, we need you. Stuff is going to happen in our world, and we need your help. And it was just like, oh, you little child. And I was still beseeching them, or beseeching this particular entity, but I could feel there was more around, for them to come forward and help mankind. And while I was having that dialogue, icy pellets started pummeling the cairn. And it just was out of nowhere, because it was a relatively warm day. And it was just showering and making such a noise. So we knew we'd struck a chord somewhere. So we left, and I told everyone, well, I don't know what's going to happen. Later that day, we had driven several miles, and we were at a place called Rathcrogan. And it was later in the day, many hours later. And we decided, this is a sacred mound that had a flat top. We decided we would go up and do a prayer for mankind, and do a prayer for this sacred space, do a prayer for all the history in Ireland. So we're now in Southern Ireland. So we get our circle, and we're at Rathcrogan, and we're starting our prayer, and we're asking to connect with the ancient ones, and Mother Earth, and Father, Mother God, and Jesus Christ is with us, and we're bringing the angelic force, and we're standing there, and that ice comes. And we're across the country. We are across the country from where we were before. The ice descends upon us, and we are literally pummeled with this ice, and the wind is so strong, we're having to hold on to each other so we don't fly away. And everyone around the circle was saying a prayer. And when it started, not one person gave way. Not one person shortened their prayer. They stood strong. And by the time we were done, the ice stopped. It was crazy. It was crazy. So the communication was set up, and the photographs are amazing of all of these locations. I share this with you to share that we do have a collective of beings who have been watching the planet for eons, waiting for mankind to open up so that the reason we are here can be remembered. Jesus Christ is with them and us. It is a part of our evolution. So one day I will put that book together, and you can see all the great photographs and all the other experiences everyone had. But until then, just be aware, we are never alone, and we are all part of this great mission. Don't know what it is, don't remember yet, but when we see it, we will be so happy we participated in it. Okay, hope you liked my spiritual story. If you did, hit like and leave a comment. Yay, God.